If Senator McCain and Senator Graham and others want to go after somebody, they should go after me. And I'm happy to have that discussion with them. But for them to go after the UN ambassador, who had nothing to do with Benghazi, and was simply making a presentation based on intelligence that she had received, and to besmirch her reputation, is outrageous.
President Obama lashing out at Republican senators over the Benghazi scandal, and tonight Senator Lindsey Graham firing back, tweeting, "Mr. President, don't think for 1 minute I don't hold you ultimately responsible for Benghazi." Congressman Jason Chaffetz joins us, and I suspect the president said that the two senators should be going after him and not the UN ambassador. Perhaps he should invite them up and let them ask him questions.
I'd love to have that conversation. If the president will see me, I would love to have this discussion with him.
Well, Friday, General Petraeus is to testify. If you were on that committee and you could ask him questions, what would you ask him?
Well, I want to know more about those two women, but most important is what happened or didn't happen in Benghazi. The president, a couple of times prior to the election, said he did everything he could to protect and take care of the people that were there in Benghazi. But if you go and look at the two-page timeline that the Department of Defense released on Friday, if you go to my Twitter handle, Jason in the House, we link to it. You look at that 5 times in there, it says they prepared to do something, but it's clear in there. The President of the United States never pulled the trigger, never gave the authorization, never told the military to engage in that firefight, protect the Americans, and extract them. He did not do that.
Well, I think Ed Henry tried to ask, or someone tried to ask me a question at the press conference, did you give the authority? And I didn't think that a complete answer. I didn't walk away from the press conference knowing if we had the answer. Did he, pull the trigger and say, do what you need to do? And he may have. I just didn't get the feeling from it.
I went to Libya. Before that, I visited with General Ham, who's the 4-star general in charge of AFRICOM. They had proximity. They had the capability. They were never given the order to do that, and that contradicts directly what the president has said publicly about what he asked the military to do and not do. And that is a huge question that needs to be answered by the president.
We keep talking about the 4 who were murdered as sort of the catalyst for why we should be investigating. And there are a lot of reasons for, but, is that we often overlook that there were actually people who were hurt.
Yeah, to me, this is one of the national tragedies. Nobody's talked about this yet. But if you go and look at that timeline, this firefight starts at 9:40 p.m. It engages throughout the night. According to the Department of Defense's own timeline, they didn't even prepare the C-17 for extraction until 6 a.m. After 2 p.m., it leaves and departs and goes to Libya. It doesn't return back to Germany until 10:19 p.m. We have injured people. We have dead bodies.
There's some over at Walter Reed right now. Some who have been injured, or at least one I know, at least one of.
We pay hundreds of billions of dollars. We have men and women who are willing to sacrifice their lives. And yet the President of the United States did not authorize them to engage and extract, did not put the safety of those people first, and it is a crying shame that we have people in the hospital that should have had hours and hours earlier treatment from an American facility, at least in Germany. There is no excuse to leave those people behind.
Is the general's extracurricular activity with Paula Broadwell, is that relevant to this investigation?
Perhaps, but it's not central to what happened and didn't happen. Now, I'm glad to hear that General Petraeus, Friday in the House, 7:30, House Intelligence, Chairman Mike Rogers, he will be grilled, and he has pertinent information.
Will they be tough on him? There's a lot of deference to the general. He served the country for a number of decades. On the other hand, he does have the information. And he did make that horribly inconsistent statement, or at least inconsistent from what the station chief said within 24 hours.
Look, the CIA has information, the State Department has information, the White House has information. If the president's going to live up to his word to be open and transparent, then provide us that information. If Ambassador Rice did not have if he says, well, she didn't have the information, she just went off the information that she had, who prepared that information? Who prepared that?
I thought he threw her on the bus to make it look like she's never had an independent thought of her own to ask a question, that she just took marching orders and she went right over there as though she'll do. And I thought, really?
He was so offended that we are asking questions. That's the role of Congress. And you know what, Mr. President? If you don't like it, then show us the information that she was gleaning that information off of and tell us who actually prepared it.
This would have gone away right from the beginning if they just provided information. I don't, they're the ones dragging it out. That's a...
They are, and it's wrong, it's a tragedy, and our men and women who are serving overseas deserve better, and the American people deserve better.
Congressman, thank you. Nice to see you. And I should
Thanks,
tell the
Greta.
viewers you have 2 new puppies in the family, but that's an aside.
Proud
You showed
puppy
me...
dad.
Indeed. Anyway.
Thank you.